Hi, this is Stephanie Ortega, and you're listening to the Remix Movement Podcast.
Hello, it's Stephanie again, and I am saying hi from the YouTube channel on video today. So thank you so much for tuning in. I really hope that you like the content we're giving on the Remix Movement Podcast. If someone shared this with you and you like it, go ahead and keep tuning in. We love that you are listening to us and that God is using this to illuminate your minds and make you stronger in your relationship with Him and encourage you. Now, a few amazing things are happening. So the first thing is, it's a whole new setup now. I know usually I'm not in this area. You see it behind me, the Remix logo. We're just changing things up a little bit to kind of see what things are doing. I invested in a selfie ring light, so I'm using that. So hopefully it changes the brightness and you don't see the shadows in the background. I also invested in a tripod to kind of see if we can like move the video a little higher so that I'm not looking down all the time. I hope that you guys like the quality of it. I hope that you guys are enjoying the way it looks. We're just trying new things so that we can look much better. I know that for some reason this is really far. Let's see. There you go. It's a little crooked. Let's see. Is that better? Yes. Yeah, so it's a work in progress. But yeah, we are changing a few things and trying to make it at the best quality that we can. And we can only get better from here. So things are moving and we'll see what happens. Up. Okay. All right. So in our last episode, we went ahead and we talked about fasting 101. And what does that mean? We talked about the ins and outs of it. What is it? What is it about? Why do we do it as believers? And how long do we need to do it for? We even touched a little bit on what a Daniel fast is, other examples of how you can fast. I hope that it was something that if you've never fasted before, you can try it out. And if you have fasted before, I hope that this kind of just is a refresher course so that you can just go ahead and have stronger experiences in your fasting. And the last episode's challenge, it was to go ahead and take a few days to plan your next fasting. To go ahead and, try it out for a weekend, try it out for a week, whatever it is that you want to go ahead and ask God for, whatever it is that you have in your heart, go ahead and plan it so that you can fast and you can get closer to God and you can have a more impactful, engaging, and intimate relationship with Him. All right. So just that was what the episode challenge was. And I hope that your experience with fasting is one that you can remember forever and continue to do good in. I don't know why this thing keeps on coming down. I'm so sorry. Hello? Oh. It's a work in progress. So I don't know if I'm crooked or not. I don't know what the case is. But I'm going to try to get through this one. And hopefully my next episode with me and the video will be better. So we are working on our podcast. We're working on new content. And as I was working on the new content, I was thinking of something that I feel like we can all have in common. And basically that is the possibility of falling into the trap of I can't, okay? Sometimes in life, we go through trials and tribulations. We go through situations. We go through valleys that we didn't expect. And we go through life experiences that are hard. And because they are difficult, we end up saying really dumb things. Some of the dumb things that we say include, well, if it hasn't happened, that means it's not going to happen. It can't happen. I can't do this. I can't see how this could be happening to me. I can't believe God is making me go through this. I can't get through this because it's just too hard. And we use the word I can't. We've fallen into the trap of I can't. All right? When the truth of the matter is, as believers, we should not be saying I can't. Instead, we should be saying what Scripture says, what the Bible says, what the Word of God says. And two major things that he says is 1 John 4:4, greater is he that is in you than he who is in the world. Okay? And Philippians 4:13, I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. It doesn't say I can't, it says I can do all things through Christ. Now, the only way that we can be able to get out of this mind game that the enemy is trying to put on us of believing that we can't is by reminding him who we have living in our hearts, who we are walking with. We have to remember that, yes, life is hard. God told us you're going to go through some valleys. You're going to hit some hard times. But don't worry, I'm going to be there with you. So we can't fall and drown into this I can't idea, into this I can't sobbing, into this I can't depression. No, we have to lift ourselves up and we have to be able to say, you know what? I can do all things. I have the mind of Christ. I am more than a conqueror. I can get through this. It's not I can't, it's I can. Now, you're not alone in this. There have been a few other people in the Bible that have gone through this period and have fallen into this trap of what is I can't. All right. And those two people, you're going to see a lot of commonalities with them because they are just regular people like ourselves. All right. So the first one is going to be a man in the pool of Bethesda. I think that's how you pronounce it. Lord. So his story is found in John chapter 5, verses 1 through 9. And I'm going to go ahead and read 5. I'm sorry, not 1 through 9. It's 5 through 9. And it says, afterward, Jesus returned to Jerusalem for one of the Jewish holy days. Inside the city, near the sheep gate, was the pool of Bethesda, with 5 covered porches. Crowds of sick people, blind, lame, or paralyzed, lay on these porches. One of the men lying there had been sick for 38 years. That is a long time. So 38 years, this person has been sick. And when Jesus saw him, he knew that he had been ill for a long time. He asked, would you like to get well? And he replied, the sick man said, I can't, sir, for I have no one to put me into the pool when the water bubbles up. Someone else always gets there ahead of me. Jesus told him, stand up, pick up your mat, and walk! Exclamation point. And you know how important the exclamation point is, okay? Instantly, the man was healed. He rolled up from his sleeping mat and began to walk. So we have this guy, right? And I think this moved. There you go. So we have this guy. We have this guy who had been sick for 38 years, who had been waiting by the pool and was hoping when my time comes, I'm going to be able to get up and I'm going to go into the pool. I'm going to get healed. And as much as he wanted to get there, he was always being beaten. So because he was being beaten and he saw his disability instead of the faith that God had, he told God, Jesus, he said, hey, Jesus, I can't get my healing because every time I go into the pool, somebody gets there before me. Now, just because you can't see the miracle before it happens doesn't mean that that Jesus himself will not come towards you. So in this case, he couldn't go physically to the pool because he couldn't go, right? He couldn't walk. But Jesus himself came towards him and brought him the solution and said, get up and walk. So even if you feel, well, it's going to take me a certain amount of time to get there. It's going to take me a long time to get there. I can't do this. I don't have the resources. I can't get this done. Believe that Jesus is already coming to you. Jesus is already on his way to your heart to be able to give you the victory. Jesus is already living in you so that you can be able to go ahead and receive your miracle, receive the answer to your prayer, Receive what it is you're hoping for. Jesus is the answer. So you can be able to do that project. You can be able to get that employment. You can be able to move forward. You can because of who is coming to you. And he comes to you through prayer. He comes to you through praise and worship. He comes to you through his word from the Bible. He comes to you when you approach him. So approach God and he will come to you so that you can be able to get what it is that you're asking him. Now, the second person that we can see who once fell into the trap of I can't was Job. All right. And most of you guys know the story of Job. It's basically a man who God, out of the random, saw that the enemy was looking out because he had a lot of different things. And he says, you know what? Test him. Do whatever it is that you need to do. Take away everything he has. And he's going to prove to you that he's still faithful. Now, even though he was being tested and all of his livestock was taken away, his houses, his kids died, his health was deteriorating, there was a point in Job's life where he could not see God. He could not see where God was going to come through. Okay. There was a point where he didn't say, well, God, this is not the way it's supposed to be. But by his attitude, by the way he was living after he had seen everything that happened, he was faithful. But you can still tell that there was a point where he broke down. And I'm going to explain to you exactly where that is. Okay. He said, I can't a few times. And the way you can tell if he can't is when you read Job chapter 35, 13 to 16. Okay. It basically says, but it is wrong to say God doesn't listen, to say the Almighty isn't concerned. You say you can't see him, but he will bring justice if you will only wait. You say he does not respond to sinners with anger, and it is not greatly concerned over wickedness. But you are talking nonsense, Job. You have spoken like a fool. Okay? The person who is saying this to Job is a guy by the name of Elihu. Elihu. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but I really hope that I am. So, Elihu. Elihu was a man sent by God to help Job through this difficult time that he was going through. Okay? At this point, he had already lost everything that he had, and he was just there. He was like, listen, I lost my cattle, my sheep, my livestock, the people who worked for me, the people who were in my house, my family, my kids. I lost everything, right? And he has 3 friends that go ahead and try to give him advice, all right? Now, be careful where you get your advice, because there will be people who will not understand God's approach and God's voice. And instead of giving you advice that will help you, they will give you advice that will look down on who he is. And that is not the advice that you need. So these 3 friends that he had all said something like, condemn the guy the God that you serve. He obviously doesn't care because of everything that's going on. He made him feel like, wow, like God just left me here to be a trial and error kind of thing, right? But God sends this man named Elihu to be able to approach him in a manner that is identical to God's attitude. It's identical to God's plan. He gives him encouragement. He doesn't condemn Job. He doesn't say Job should not be feeling this way. What he says is reminding him who Christ is, reminding him of who God is, reminding him that, hey, God sees you. God is going to bring you justice. God is going to be on your side. God is concerned for your health. God is in charge of what's happening to you. And then at the end, he says, you are talking nonsense, Job. You're acting like a fool. So he's reiterating, you're having a moment right now where you're thinking of yourself and your own problems. You're thinking of your own personal stuff, but you're forgetting the person who lives in you, the person who is your I am, the person who is the great I am, the person who is the Almighty, the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords, the person that will heal you, restore you, and give back you everything and more. So Elihu goes ahead and he encourages Job in this time where he feels like he can't move on by saying, hey, change your perspective and know that the God who is with you is greater than the person who's giving you problems. And that's for anybody who's listening right now. Whatever situation that you're going through, whatever situation that you think is something that's scary, is afraid, is something that you can't handle, the person that you follow, the person who gave breath into your life, the person who has allowed you to live on this earth, to breathe, to be able to be close to your family, to be able to help you out, that God is bigger than anything you fear and anything that you are facing right now. So you cannot fall into the trap of I can't. You know why? Because you have the I am living in you. You have the God who will be able to move with you throughout the season, throughout your hard times, and he will make a way for you. It's not I can't. It's I can do all things. It's not I can't. It's greater is he who is in me than he who is in the world. All right? So this episode's challenge, memorize those 2 Bible verses that we just talked about. They were 1 John 4:4 and Philippians 4:13. And I want you to memorize them because the next time you fall into the trap of I can't, and of course, we make mistakes and we think of ourselves, and it's only natural that maybe we have a moment of weakness and we think I can't. But the next time you feel like you're going to trip into that hole, you can remind yourselves these 2 important verses in the Bible, and you can say, you know what? I can do this because God is with me. He lives in me and he gives me strength. All right? Have a wonderful rest of the week. I hope you enjoy your weekend. And I promise you the next video will be a little bit better. I'm still learning this thing with the lights and the tripod. I'm still trying to get the angles right. I feel like my head has been in the video and then it's not. I have no idea. But I hope you enjoyed the podcast episode, and I hope you do not fall into the trap of I can't. Have a good time, and God bless.
If you enjoyed listening to this podcast, follow us on Facebook and Instagram at The Remix Movement for more updates. Send us a DM with your feedback, questions, and any topics that you would like to hear in any of our future episodes. Thank you, and God bless.